Hello, my name is Keith Parsons, and today we're going to talk about Wi-Fi Signal. Wi-Fi Signal is one of the tools that I use at least daily, a couple of times a day, for years now. Well, what triggered this video was a Twitter post a little while ago where someone said, what's the first thing you would load on every computer you ever do? For me, that's Adrian Granados' tool called Wi-Fi Signal. Now, Adrian has moved his website from adriangranados.com over to intuitabits.com. I'll put the link in the show notes. But today we're going to talk about why I like Wi-Fi Signal, and it's on all my machines. First, to use Wi-Fi Signal, I don't necessarily have to have it. I could just use regular Mac OS, and I'm going to go in and hit the Option key and then come over here and hit the little Wi-Fi boing, boing, boing. And we can see down here, there's IP address, router, what's the security that I'm using, RSSI, MCS, all the information is being held here. So the Mac OS is carrying all of this information. And what Adrian did was write a front end that goes and gets this information and then does stuff with it and makes life a lot easier than having to hit this. So if you don't have the software and you want to get the information like what's my current MCS, you can just hit the Option, boing, and pull this down. But what I do like about his tool, and it's right here at the top, and I have mine customized, and we're going to go through what that customization looks like. It's showing in the top bar all the information about my current connection. It has the channel. These two have the way I have mine set up is what's being offered by the AP and what is my client actually getting at the same time. So the ratio between these two tells me about the health of my RF. With just a quick little look, I look at the ratio and see right now I'm 1170 compared to 1300. So it could be slightly better, but it's actually really good. But I can also look and see that I'm running MCS 9 right now. And if you notice, even while I'm talking, this has changed. And then the SSID, I'm currently on WLAN Pros. Well, let's go through and look in detail what this does. So first up, I'm just going to click on it. And when I do, I get a little pop-out that has information. Now, I've configured my pop-out to look this way. Maybe on yours, when you first turn it on, it doesn't look exactly like this, but you can make yours look exactly like mine or customize it to do whatever you'd like to do on yours. So right now it's saying I've got good signal quality. This is Adrian's, he's got some categories there. Actually, truthfully, I never look there because his categories and mine are different depending on how I'd want to look. Right now I'm getting a 53 as 51, and it changes. It's live action. You can see my signal noise, actually pretty high noise level. I've got 30 dB SNR. My MCS is 9. The AP is offering up here 1300. I'm receiving 1300, 1.3 gig. That's pretty decent. It's in 5 gig, 802.11 AC is what's being offered by this MIST AP with SSID of WLAN_pros. So all this information is coming to me right now. Again, it's just getting it directly from Mac OS, but then putting it in a new format, including, and I have mine showing the MCS index over time because I really care about what the MCS is. I could have it plot other things. So this is just a quick view. Up on the top, it shows me all the time what's going on. If I click on it, it shows me this piece of information. Well, let's see how we can configure it. First, about Wi-Fi Signal. Here it is, Wi-Fi Signal. It's from Adrian Granados, and you can see it on their website. Their website is, their website here is called Intuitabits. It's his new company name. He just started up, but he's been making this software for a long time. And you can go out to intuitabits.com and get any of his products, AirTool, Transfer, Explorer. I use Explorer Pro also every day. Or this tool we're talking about today is Wi-Fi Signal. And so this is where you can go pick up Wi-Fi Signal. There's its little thing. You can get it in the Mac App Store and use it on any of your machines. So strongly recommend that. Now, let's look into the preferences. If we come down here and click the little settings icon, the little gear, we can look about. We already saw the about. I can now set my preferences. The preferences, let's start here with the general preferences. I personally like to use DBM. I understand DBM. I know how it works. It makes sense to me. But if you're, wanted to think in percentage, you can change yours and use percentage all the time. If you go on Adrian's website, there's a blog entry that discusses the difference and how he calculates DBM versus percentage. It's not a linear curve. It's anyway. If you care, go look there. Personally, I like DBM. I like to graph MCS because I personally like MCS best. But he gives you options. You can change other things. You can graph the data rate, SNR, or the RSSI. Your choice on that. Personally, I like MCS. If I say show channel width, and I'll change this live so you can see what happens. Right up here where it says 3680, and up on top it says 3680. If I turn off channel width, it changes it here, but not at the top because the top is set in my status preference. But this is the one that shows on the screen itself. I like to show it so I know whether or not I'm, what my channel width is at the time. I have the IP address shown. That's right here. You can also pop that off. And I show MCS because I think that's the most important thing. So there might be people who don't understand MCS or don't want to have the ability to see their IP address. I think they should all be turned on. I don't turn on channel recommendations personally because whatever he recommends, I will find some other way to do it. He's using an algorithm. I would use something different. But this is the system, the way I have mine set up, and I find I like it. It's got a lot of detail. You can control it. But the real point here is let's jump over to status. And in the status place, you can make your own any way you like. This is the one I chose because I like to see this. So I have my channel and the channel width with a little dash in between. So I had to add that little dash. Actually, it's a little, I could have added some spaces in there, but I just wanted it to be tight. Then I have a vertical bar. And then next to the vertical bar, I have what is offered versus what I'm getting. Those are the two differences. And the ratio between those two tells me about the health. Say I'm only getting, 600 meg. But if what's being offered by the APs max is 600 meg, then 600 doesn't look good. But if the max was 13, but I'm getting 600, thus I want to see what's offered versus what's available. And so I set those up in mine. I put the letters MCS, because all that the %X does is put in the MCS itself. So I wanted to be able to look and see that it's just not a 9, but MCS 9. And then the last one is I have my SSID. There's other choices, and down below you can see different patterns you could choose if you wanted to have the device name or an annotation or BSSID. They're all available to you. Anything that's in the Mac OS, Adrian can go grab and pull up and then put up on your screen. So you have control over that. Same that we can now edit notifications. So notifications are the things that will pop up on your screen. And Adrian is now sensing and listening in his software what happens as an event inside my Mac. And if I roam or I find a stronger signal or a weaker signal, I can have it tell me and it'll pop up on the screen. I just roamed. Sometimes I'm sitting in a hotel and I like to know, did I change APs that I'm connected to? And you can set any one of these and you can click on them and turn them on and off, and then it will change that notification that pops up on your screen. So Wi-Fi Signal isn't just this static piece that's on the screen at the top or even this little drop down bar, but it will also send little messages to you, those notifications. You can control those, a lot of choices to choose from. Another thing we can look at here when we get into the settings is events. So I'm going to turn back on events. And now the events tab is showing here. I have mine currently set for the last month. And you can see there wasn't a lot of events over the entire month. Well, that's because I have mine set to the things that haven't changed much. I'm currently on a desktop. Well, it's a laptop. It's a MacBook Pro. But it's been sitting on my desk. I have, because of COVID, I haven't been traveling a whole lot. So it's been sitting here. So some of the events, the join events, the roam events, the channel events, and the disconnect events, those are the ones that I've got turned on, and not a lot has happened. You can see that I went from Mist AP to WLAN Pros SSID. I went over the Windward neighbors. I switched over to my Keith AP a couple of times, and you can see which channels are on and the data rates and speeds. This is good information. If I turn them all off, you can see them by type. So there's been 2 disconnect events, If I switch to rate events, now I can see there's been 95,000 rate events just in the last month. As my client connects to the AP, the environment changes. It goes from 1170 to 1300, back and forth, all the way down to 1053. You can see if you just scan through here, I'm staying above a gig fairly consistently the entire time. So yeah, roaming events are less because I didn't move my machine, but rate events are shifting all the time, which is one of the reasons why I don't want to know about a rate shift notification, or it'd be popping at me all the time. But for join events, roam events, channel change events, and disconnect events, I like those as notifications too, because they don't happen very often. And if they do, I probably want to know about it. So Wi-Fi Signal from Adrian Granados is the author. You can go into twoitabits.com to get your own copy. Very cheap, doesn't cost much at all. I put it on all my machines. It allows me to see what the current connection is on Wi-Fi. That alone helps me do all sorts of different types of troubleshooting. You should go and get your own copy of Wi-Fi Signal now. You'll love it. Thank you.